Before we get to the meat and potatoes of this video, I just want to give a quick shout out to Fem Superion on my Discord server for guessing the origin of my name, chrisjaammm, correctly. I was running a little contest if anybody could guess where the origin and the Transformers mythos of my YouTube name comes from. You get a shout out in this video, and she won, so thank you for that. And yeah, let's get right down to it. Okay, you guys, how is everybody doing today? So as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be going through some more Q&A type stuff, not officially by like TFW or some other Transformers site at Hasbro, at like San Diego Comic-Con or whatever other convention you want to throw out there. This is basically just fans DMing Evan and I think Nate as well on Instagram over the last, like, let's say 5-6 months of this year, asking questions, because I found this really interesting TFW thread filled with information about these, question and answers from these Instagram DMs that people share. This first little Q&A that I want to go over here was sent in on TFW by BB Jazz. And so the person asked, are you guys planning on doing a trailer for Armada Nemesis Prime? And Evan says, as of now, we have no plans, but he is compatible with the Legacy Armada release. I don't know how to feel about that. That is kind of weird. Like, just the whole Nemesis Prime release as a whole is weird. Like, me personally, guys, I am not getting that freaking thing. I am sticking with the fans' hobby Armada Nemesis Prime all the way. You know, you got the interchangeable faceplates, you got all the accessories, you got his trailer. The fans' hobby did the trailer with the Nemesis Prime. I get it, they were kind of referencing, like, the toy repaint, but he had his trailer in the cartoon. He used it. Granted, it was only for like a few seconds, but the trailer was literally in the cartoon. So, I mean, you can't really even use the excuse of, oh, it's from the toy-only deco, blah, 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 because the character was in the cartoon, the trailer was in the cartoon. So the fact they kind of neglected including that and kind of just half-assed and half-released Armada Nemesis Prime, it just tells you everything you need to know. I'm not blaming Evan specifically. Do not take this the wrong way. I am just saying, as a whole, Hasbro made the wrong decision here. I truly think they should have just included the trailer. Now, maybe it was for some pricing reasons. Maybe it was for some tooling reasons behind the scenes that we don't know about, that Evan or Mark hasn't gotten into yet for the public. I don't know. However you cut the cake, it kind of just doesn't make sense to me that you would do this Armada Nemesis Prime that already has the trailer in the mold, and you just actively leave it out. It's kind of just random to me. It makes no sense. And for the price, you guys might as well just should have put the trailer in there. It makes no sense that they left it out for a figure that's already going to be like, what, $80? Yeah, you should have just put in the trailer for the $100 price point, you know, because you got the mini cons in there or whatever, $110, however much it would be to add the trailer. Again, maybe it was for some pricing reasons. They didn't want to make their con exclusive too expensive or something. But then again, you got freaking 6-inch action figures like for Star Wars Black Series and Marvel Legends that don't even transform, that are smaller. You got those sets running you $100, $110, $120. So I don't know if it's pricing. I just think it might have been just a bad decision on Hasbro's part behind the scenes. But anyway, in other news, we have here, this was sent in by He Wool. Sorry if I'm pronouncing a name wrong. So he asked Nate on Instagram, have you heard of any interest in Takara /Hasbro /etc. in subtitled or dubbed re-releases of Zone, Beast Wars 2nd, and Neo? The limited information I can find tells me that these are only officially available in Japanese. And Nate responded with, we have discussed this absolutely. I'd love it, and I know the fans would love it. I don't have anything to share, but it's something we have interest in for sure. This is a good answer. This is an interesting answer, as far as I could say. Like, this is something that is, I thought that Nate would maybe kind of like shoot down, but no, he is going into this question and saying it's something we've discussed and something we're interested in doing. Now, frankly, if something like Hasbro's not interested in doing, sometimes Nate or Evan would just come out and say, oh, we have no plans for that right now, but they've discussed it. Now, the questions that I have with this answer here that Nate gave is, when did you discuss this with Takara? And what are the talks right now to get English dubbed versions of these shows? Because I watched the English subbed versions of these shows on YouTube over the years, and they're really entertaining animes. Like, they hold up, in my opinion, they hold up, frankly, better than the freaking American G1 cartoon. They're more interesting. They kind of have a better story, more interesting characters, a larger cast, which I know isn't always the best thing, but in my opinion, it worked for this cartoon, or for these cartoons, I should say. I really love Beast Wars 2nd and Neo designs and characters. It's on par with the American Beast Wars show. Zone and all the other G1 adjacent animes are great. Even though they are a bit convoluted, I think that's a big problem with those, but they're entertaining to watch. So, I mean, I think there would be a lot of interest and money to be made with Hasbro and Takara to just re-release these with English dubbed stuff. And especially with technology nowadays, with AI or whatever, you could even fix the mouth and the face plates to move accordingly to the English instead of it looking weird with the English sub or dub, you know? So there's a lot of options they could go with nowadays in re-releasing these shows that I think would actually make for good re-releases that fans would just buy up. I think there's a lot of money to be made in re-releasing these animes that Hasbro and Takara just haven't tapped into yet for some reason. But I'm glad to see that this is something that they're open to doing at some point in the future, and he didn't just shoot this down, and they've actually been discussing it, which is really crazy if you think about it. And the last thing I want to talk about in this video is in regards to a reissue of Legacy Breakdown. So this was sent in via QBotSM, and it says here, and I quote, I was wondering if there was ever plans to reissue Legacy Breakdown in any of the other Senticons. I know myself and a lot of people never had a chance to complete Menasor, so I think a lot of collectors would appreciate it. He is very right in saying that. And Evan responded with, yes, we've gotten a lot of requests about that since he was so hard to get, and so we will get him back out there. This is probably the greatest answer Transformers fans could ever hear about a Legacy Breakdown reissue. Cue the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania gif of all the kings rejoicing. You know, this is amazing. This is great news. I myself, I'm not much of a Hasbro Menasor guy. I'm more of a third-party IDW Menasor fan. I love that design and what that company did. But, you know, Legacy Menasor is not too shabby. Breakdown, I think, has a lot of issues. I think he suffered mostly from him being in one of the later waves that was kind of shafted. That happens basically every year in every line for generations. I don't really know if it was because of fan popularity and people actually loving the mold, because when that figure first came out and him being a retool of, I think, Wild Rider and the backpack and how the figure looked, people were complaining to high heaven about that, rightfully so, because it really wasn't that great of a Breakdown figure. I mean, it was okay. It was kind of mid. So I think it's mostly because of distribution. People weren't able to get this, and not really because of a hype or it's an amazing figure sort of thing. So I really hope Hasbro remedies this and corrects their wrong in terms of distribution a few years ago to this figure, and they actually do re-release this, because that would be a great nod to collectors, and of course that would make Hasbro a lot of money considering the figure is hard to get on the aftermarket. It's just a no-brainer for both parties, for Hasbro and fans alike, to just reissue this figure, especially with all the reissues we've been getting over the last couple of years for hard-to-find figures from the Generations line the last, 5, 6, 7 years. So it would just make sense, and I definitely see him coming up on the radar for a reissue. Probably, maybe he could be a reissue later on this year we don't know about yet, or it could be a reissue sometime in 2026. I'm leaning more towards him being a reissue for 2026, but again, I could be wrong. Could be later on this year. I'm just speculating here, but yeah, guys, let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about the answers that Evan and Nate gave here to these very interesting questions that fans sent in? I'm glad that we could do this now and have an open dialogue with the people who work at Hasbro. This makes for some great clarity and, you know, some great content on YouTube as well, which I'm grateful for. Yeah, all around this is great stuff, and look out for more videos I'm gonna do covering these Q&As on Instagram. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.